Hey, what's up, guys? It's Apollo Uchiha here, back with a new short movie. The name of this short movie is What If Naruto Lost His Life, and it's a story by Mugiwara no Lucy. The original name of the fic is Bitter Goodbyes. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And without further ado, let's begin with our story.
The tension was thick in the cave that Naruto was in, probably thanks to the heat of the lava below. It had been a long mission with Naruto guarding the priestess Shion in an effort to protect her from the crazed medical ninja known as Yomi, who had actually succeeded in his goal of reviving the Moryo, a demon hell-bent on global domination in order to create his thousand-year kingdom. "Why you?" Naruto growled as he got up after being knocked towards the ground and made the hand sign for his all-time favorite jutsu, the Shadow Clone Jutsu. While the mission had been a little dicey dealing with Yomi's 4 followers as well as his stony army, alongside with Shion's cold shoulder and apathetic attitude, it had all been overcome with the combined efforts of Sakura, Rock Lee, and Neji. All of this was coupled with Naruto winning over Shion due to his impeccable ninja way and his positive outlook on life in general. He wouldn't let all of that hard work go to waste now. After all, it went against everything he stood and lived for. "Clone tackle!" Naruto yelled as he summoned several shadow clones. Before shadow clones went for a full frontal assault against the Moryo, the demon had made short work of the shadow clones as the heads comprising his body, destroying and knocking down all of the clones, Naruto himself included. "I will not," Naruto grunted as he forced himself awake before looking at the demon with a look of utter determination. If he could handle a monster like the one tailed back in the Chunin exams, he could definitely handle some dragon-headed demon. "Die!" Naruto yelled before dashing at the Moryo with a kuna in hand at a dashing speed. Naruto was able to jump through the hair and chop off several of the Moryo's heads before noticing the main head of the Moryo dashing right towards him, making him smirk. At the speed rate the Moryo was traveling towards him, it was slower than Gamabunta. Naruto had thought. "Too slow," Naruto yelled as he stabbed the Moryo right in the center of his forehead with his kunai. Now it was finally over. The Moryo was dead and he was able to keep Shion safe. Now all he had to worry about was getting out of the cave and meeting up with his friends. At least that was what the blonde shinobi thought before a bright purple light deep in the lava caught his attention. "And I?" Naruto asked in confusion before he suddenly found himself thrust upward with one of the tentacles of the Moryo. At first, the entire scene was a blur to the young Jinchuriki. His eyes widened when he noticed the tail above him was painted red. Before he could even register anything, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. The pain was horrible. It was excruciating. Even worse than the time he was stabbed his own hand back in the Land of Waves mission over, even when Sasuke impaled his chest with the Chidori. To add insult to injury, Naruto felt a sticky red substance hit the middle of his face. Then the realization of the situation dawned on him. It was his blood. "Naruto!" Shion yelled in horror at the scene in front of her. The Moryu had stabbed Naruto right through his chest, piercing his heart. The wound was so fatal that even if he made his way out of the cave, he no doubt die of blood loss, regardless if a healer like Sakura or Shizune attempted to heal him. Naruto literally couldn't breathe as he tried to make his way up to the tentacle in an attempt to free himself. It couldn't end like this. He couldn't die in the cave. He had to live. No, he had to survive. He had to surpass everyone and be the strongest ninja ever. Become Hokage. Save Sasuke. Have Team 7 back together again. Naruto muttered as he groaned in pain as he attempted to remove himself from the tentacle. He wouldn't give up. If he could prove to someone like Neji that he could change destiny, he definitely wouldn't die here. He never even saw Sasuke again after their awful fight at the Valley of the End, years ago. He can't die here without even seeing him again. Right here, right now. Couldn't be all his life was worth. "Damn it," Naruto groaned as he tried to make himself move again, but to no avail. He felt his arm going numb with this attempted as frustrated tears started to build up in his eyes. I won't die here. Not until I become Hokage. Not until I save Sasuke. I will make Team 7 together again, Naruto yelled as he coughed up blood. As he moved upwards in the tentacle but felt his arm give out as his vision turned hazy, as his breathing became more labored. It was then when he realized the inevitable was coming. He was going to die. He wouldn't get any more second chances. It wasn't like the times when Kakashi or Jiraiya saved him. This was it. He was going to die in this cave. As the realization sunk in, Naruto felt tears coming to his eyes before they fell onto the lava floor beneath him. When he finally passed his graduation exams 3 years ago, never did he think he'll die at the hands of some demon with tentacles and dragon heads. He always envisioned himself dying as an old man after achieving his lifelong dream of becoming the Hokage. Possibly with Sakura as his wife, but no. This really was it. It was as far as he could go. And it sucked. He wouldn't be able to get another bowl of Ichiraku ramen, hang out with his friends, or become Hokage along with saving Sasuke. He died at the hands of a maniacal demon. As more tears hit the lava floor and even Shion, Naruto couldn't help but feel sorrow for all of his friends he left behind. I'm sorry, everyone, Naruto thought, crying as his mind went over to all his friends he made over the years. I'm sorry, Shion. Looks like we won't make it out of the cave together. Funny, just as we were starting to get along, Naruto thought as his thoughts shifted to all of his other friends. I'm sorry, Kakashi-sensei. It looks like you have to bury another person precious to you. In some ways, you were like a father to me. Thank you for teaching me about the way of ninja. I'm sorry, Sakura. You lost Sasuke, and now you lost me. I'm going to miss all of our good times together. You may have hit me, but despite all that, you still cared about me. I only wish I could tell you how much I loved you. Even though you loved Sasuke, you're a strong woman. You'll become a ninja as strong as Granny Tsunade. Become the Konoichi, strongest known to ever in the elemental nation ever, for me. I'm sorry, Hinata, for dying here. You were always nice to me, especially when everyone else wasn't. You became a ninja even stronger than Neji. I'm sure of it. Sorry that we never got that our rematch, Kiba. You too, Akamaru. Especially after I used that dirty move on you back in the Chunin exams. You used to have so much fun in the academy along with Shikamaru, Kiba, and Choji. I'm sorry I kept on forgetting you, Shino. Even if we weren't as close, I still consider you a damn good friend. You care a lot about Hinata and Kiba. I'll never forget that mission where you couldn't stop laughing. I'm sorry, Kurenai-sensei. I'll never forget how you made sure I ate my veggies during that whole crystal competition years ago. Hopefully, you'll have a good future with Asuma-sensei. I'm sorry we can't ever play shogi together again, Shikamaru. When I think about it, you're one of the ones in Konoha I could put in a lot of trust in. Even if you are a lazy ass, you're a damn good shinobi. You know, even if you're annoying, I'm still missing you, You come a long way from that Sasuke-obsessed fangirl you were in the academy. Be sure to be good to Sakura. I'm sorry we can't eat together anymore, Shoji. You were always so nice to me, everyone. Be sure to keep on being strong and be sure to keep on carrying yourself. I'm sorry we couldn't never speak more, Asuma-sensei. Although, from what I've seen, you're a pretty badass shinobi. No wonder you're old man Hokage's son. Neji, you come a long way from the arrogant jackass you were in the Chunin exams. You become a great shinobi and I hope you continue to protect Hinata and your teammates. I'm sorry we can never settle the score, bushy brows. I may have thought you were kinda weird when we first met, but when I heard how you protected Sakura, I knew right then and there you were a good person. Please continue to protect everyone, even if you can't use ninjutsu. You're one of the strongest people I know. Himato, we never spoke that much. I'll still miss you, Tenten. I'll never forget that one mission we took to the Konoha Ninja Tool Research Facility, detached office place, after Granny Tsunade became Hokage. You were an amazing leader. I'm sure you'll become a badass Konoichi one day. Bushibro-sensei, you gave me that green jumpsuit and have encouraged me so many times. Thanks for always being a green light in the Leaf Village. You and Bushibro-sensei. Maybe you can beat Kakashi-sensei one day. Maybe. You have some jutsu in the night that an ultimate dynamic entry can't even pale in front of. Konohamaru, Mogi, Udon. I'm sorry that it's ending right here for me. You have come a long way from the kids you have that idolized me all those years ago. Konohamaru, hopefully you can do the Rasengan now. Your grandpa would be proud of you, and maybe one of days you'll surpass even me. Udon, wipe your nose up, but I'm sure you'll be alright, little guy. Mogi, I'm sure you'll be a ninja as talented as Sakura. Inari, old man Tazuna, Tsunade, I'm sorry we never got to meet again. I hope the land of waves has gotten better after it's been freed from the sacks of the Shishikado. Tsunade, thanks for always being nice and making yummy food. And old man Tazuna, you're not a complete grouch anymore. And Inari, I'm sorry again for being rude and calling you a coward. You're not a coward. You're strong. Stronger than most people I know. I hope you have a great life in the lands of waves. Hey, hopefully you get a girlfriend. Gara, it feels like only yesterday we were fighting as enemies to the death in the Chunin exams. I'm so proud that you became Kazekage and got everyone's respect. If only we could have had a battle of the Kages. Kankuro, I remember when I said I hated you, but now I consider you an important friend. You have those awesome puppets. I'm certain you'll become great than the bastard Sasori was. Tamari, I remember when I saw defeat Tenten in the Chunin exams. I thought you were scary, but when you helped us during the Sasuke ordeal, I knew right then and there you changed. Stay safe, Granny Tsunade. I'll never forget when I first met you. I wanted to punch you in the face, but then Shizune told me how misunderstood you were, and then I won over our bet. A bet that nearly killed me, but unlike that time, I won't make it. I'm sorry. Even though I said I wouldn't die until I become Hokage. You're one of the people who believed in me the most. I'm sure your brother and that Don guy would be proud of who you've become. Thank you for being a mother to me. Old man Hokage, looks like I'll be seeing you sooner than I thought. I remember as a kid I used to yell how I'd become Hokage and you'd egg me on. Looks like that one promise I'm breaking. Old man Tenuichi, you gave me that bowl of ramen when I was walking around in the rain hungry that one day, and were one of the few kinds to me as a kid. You're one of the people I'll miss the most. Thank you for the love and kindness you've given me. Big sis Ayame, like old man Tenuichi, you fed and comforted me when no one else would. Thank you for being a good sister and a big sister to me. I wish we could have ramen together one more time. Sasuke, you're my best friend, and it hurts that we can't go back to the ways we were once. You say I meant nothing to you, but you're lying. Why else did you spare me all those years ago? I hope you pay that bastard Itachi back tenfold for what he did to your clan, and hopefully you back to Leaf Village one day. Yurika-sensei, you were the first ninja to ever accept me. I used to intentionally try to piss you off, but honestly I did it because you were like a big brother to me. You always looked out for me against people like that Mizugi bastard. You always thought and bought me dinner and wanted me to become Hokage. I guess this is far as I go, or could go. Thank you for everything I had. I hope you go on to even become the principal of the academy. You deserve it. And as Naruto finished his goodbyes, he couldn't help but smile. It wasn't like he passed away in bad from a disease, but he fell in battle proudly like a true ninja would, and even succeeded in mission in protecting Shion. As he thought all of this, couldn't help the smile coming from his face, but before he would take his eternal slumber, he had one more goodbye to make. Naruto suddenly appeared in front of the cage with a kanji for seal on it. Behind it stood the nine-tailed fox, who growled with the utmost anger at Naruto. You. Same spooky glare as always, huh? Naruto gritted as the nine-tails gritted his teeth at the blonde shinobi. You stupid fool. Now that you've forgotten, you killed yourself. I'm dead too. The nine-tails fox yelled at Naruto before he suddenly found himself raising an eyebrow as he noticed Naruto was smiling. What's so funny? The demon fox demanded, as Naruto sighed at the fox's attitude. You know, Nine-Tails, despite what everyone says about you, I don't think you're as bad as you made out to be. Naruto began as the nine-tailed fox found his eyes raising in surprise. "What are you trying to say?" the fox asked as Naruto grinned at him. "Maybe. If things were different, we could have been friends. And we could have done something with the haters of yours." Naruto declared with his trademark smile as the nine-tailed fox felt a wave of emotions went through his chest. He remembered his times with his previous Jinchurikis, and none of them were as kind as him, as Naruto was being to him right now. "You fool, are you completely stupid? I'm the nine-tailed demon fox. I haven't fallen so low that I need the sympathy of some dwarf. I am hatred incarnate," the nine-tailed fox yelled as Naruto grinned widened. "Heh, it wouldn't been a challenge helping you, and you know how much I love challenges," Naruto declared before turning around and walking away as the nine-tailed found himself becoming emotional at what he had heard. "Well, goodbye forever," Naruto said before ending the transmission as the nine-tailed found something went fall from his eye and hit the sphereful. "What is this?" the nine-tailed fox asked as he realized it had been a while since he felt this emotion. "Not since the Sage of the Sixth Boss death. Damn you, Naruto," the nine-tailed fox said before he surrounded to darkness. Maybe in another universe, the nine-tailed fox could have been won over by Naruto's charm, and they could have joked around like friends. Who knows? As Naruto brought himself back to the real world. Knowing he said his goodbyes, he felt happy knowing he received some closure and finally surrendered himself to the realms of the afterlife, letting his arms of eternal slumber finally take a hold of him. Meanwhile, Sakura and the other have finally taken care of the remains of Yomi and his army. Now they eagerly await the return of Shion and Naruto. I can only imagine where Shion and Naruto are. Them being late shows a total lack of youthfulness. Rock Lee yelled as Might Guy agreed with him. Yes, to be late is to be lacking the power of youth. Guy agreed as the two hugged each other in the sunshine setting, making everyone sigh at their immaturity. "You two are really something," Temari said as she wondered if Gaara was truly incorrect in not crushing Lee with his sand coffin. "Totally, it's a drag," Shikamaru sighed along with Neji as Kakashi and Sakura shook their heads. At least the mission is done," Kakashi said as Sakura smiled. "I can only wonder where Naruto is," Sakura asked as if the heavens were watching. They were suddenly approached by Shion holding Naruto on the shoulder. "Hey, there they are!" Lee yelled. "Naruto, oh my god!" Sakura yelled as she noticed Naruto's condition. His skin wasn't his usual tan color, but was as pale as Orochimaru's. Not to mention, she noticed there was a lot of blood on Shion, but since she had no scratches on her, it had to be Naruto's. "Quick, Sakura, you need to heal him before." Lee tried to yell, but Shion cut him off. "No, you can't. It's too late," Shion said, as there was a deathly silence after those simple words were said. "What?" Shikamaru asked in a tone not heard from him before. "He's gone." Shion choked as her voice broke, making everyone gasp in horror. "He's what?" Sakura asked as tears filled her eyes. "He's dead. He died sacrificing himself to save me from the Moryu. I was luckily able to beat it, but he's dead. I'm sorry," Shion said before she fell to the ground while still keeping Naruto above the ground, giving his corpse the respect it deserved as everyone heard hearts fell. "No, it can't be," Might Guy said in horror. "The son of one of the men he respected. Dead? Quite joking around." Sakura began as her voice was hesitant. "Naruto," Lee murmured as his voice quivered before noticing Naruto's smile. Even in death he was smiling. How could he smile even in death? "Naruto," Lee yelled before he embraced Naruto's dead body as he cried on him. "I'm not joking, Sakura," Shion said as more tears fell onto ground, staining her jacket, but she could care less about him. "If you're joking, I'll knock you into next week," Sakura yelled as Kakashi put a hand on her shoulder while he was crying before shaking his head. "She's not joking. Naruto's gone," Kakashi sadly confirmed as tears fell from behind his mask. "He's right. I can't feel any chakra from Naruto," Neji numbly added before deactivating his Byakugan. Sakura said nothing before tapping Lee's shoulder, understanding what she wanted to do. He let Naruto go gently down onto the ground before she caressed Naruto's cheek. "It's funny. When I first met Naruto, I hated him. I thought he was just an inconsiderate jackass who wanted to be a thorn in the backsides of other, until we spent various missions together. He even saved me from Gara. And it's funny that I never thanked him as much as I should have. Sakura began as everyone was openly crying at her words. All he ever wanted was to protect everyone. Naruto was, no, is despite having a demon in him, one of the most human people I have known, if not the most. He always put others ahead of himself. He was so kind-hearted and pure. He was the true definition of a ninja, going out with a bang. It's funny, during our bell training, he wanted to be on the Konoha's memorial monument, and it looks like he's finally getting that. He was a great person who deserves to be, supposed to be. Sakura tried to finish before she noticed tears staining the young ninja's face, before she fell to his chest crying his name, Naruto. You can't be gone. You're supposed to be Hokage, she yelled, as everyone shared in her despair. Unlike in another universe where they could have had the choice of using wish orbs to bring Naruto back to life, in their world they didn't have that luxury. Naruto was gone forever. Lee and Guy were immensely distraught. To Lee and Guy, it was someone they knew with a lot of promise dying before their time. They would usually boast about Naruto's youthfulness, but they knew now wasn't the perfect time. Naruto, Shikamaru said as he couldn't stop his tears from falling. He remembered the times he had in the academy, ditching class, pissing off Iruka, as well as the various missions they went on. While Naruto had been annoying, he was still a close comrade and a friend to him. Temari, while she wasn't as close as everyone else was to Naruto, was still crying openly along with everyone. After all, if it wasn't for him, Gaara definitely would have died at the hands of the Akatsuki. Naruto, you protected everyone again. Thank you, Temari said as she cried. You went out the way you wouldn't want it. Nothing short of respectable, and he thought as he cried tears of his own. After all, Naruto had showed him the light. If he never met Naruto, who knows what would have happened. He'd still be an arrogant jackass looking down on people while proclaiming things about fate and destiny. Minato-sensei, I have failed you. Again, Kakashi thought as he reflected on him not saving Obito, Rin, Minato, and now his son was lying dead in front of him. The way he laid there on the ground dead, it was way too similar to when he saw Obito die. Way too damn similar. I only wish I could have told Naruto I loved him. Shion yelled as everyone cried harder before Shion found herself embraced by Sakura. Naruto would wanted us to be happy, that we're all safe, regardless of him being alive or not. Sakura stammered, as it was shockingly Kakashi who decided to speak up. Okay, everyone, we should probably return home to Konoha. Our mission is done, and Naruto's body should be buried. He died as a true hero of the Leaf Village, Kakashi suggested, as everyone reluctantly agreed as they walked home, save for Temari, who had to return to her own village surprisingly in the beautiful morning air, an environment the opposite of how the situation was, down in their own sorrows. While unknown to any of them, the Akatsuki member known as Setsu had seen everything from a nearby tree. Holy shit, did you see that? The white half of Zetsu asked in astonishment to his black half, who was shocked at what just transpired. Yeah, we definitely need to report this to the leader, Black Zetsu replied before the two sunk into the tree. It was a long and arduous journey back to Konoha. Unlike previous missions, the ninja wouldn't be irritated by Naruto's eagerness to go back to Konoha and eat Ichiraku ramen. Upon entering the village, Kakashi turned to everyone. I'll tell Tsunade the news and deliver the body to her, Kakashi numbly said as everyone nodded their heads before deciding to return to their homes. I'll tell my team as well as Konohamaru that and Iruka about Naruto, Shikamaru said as Sakura nodded her head. Shion and I will tell Hinata's team, and as well as the Ichiraku, Sakura's spacing said as Shikamaru nodded before the group of ninjas went their own separate ways. Tsunade's reaction to the news was rather depressing. Tsunade had attempted to punch Kakashi's head off, thinking it was a cruel joke on his end, until she saw Naruto's dead body in front of herself. Upon seeing the deceased teenager's body, Tsunade had a nervous breakdown. Seeing someone so full of energy, so full of life, was too much for the poor woman. They didn't even reach the age of 18. It was just like Namaki all over again. At least Dan lived to at least drink alcohol. With the help of Shizune, Tsunade was able to barely keep herself together before she thanked Kakashi for letting her know. As Kakashi left to wallow in his sorrows, Tsunade stared at Naruto's corpse before chuckling, startling Shizune. It's funny. He died with a smile on his face, just like Minato did. Tsunade began as Shizune raised an eyebrow. Did Tsunade? Shizune asked in concern as Tsunade caressed Naruto's cheek. Selfless idiot, just like his father. Tsunade said as tears cascaded down her eyes and fell on Naruto's face. His parents would have been proud of him. Heh, yet again, another life that necklace has taken away from me. Tsunade dismally said before she suddenly started walking out of her room. Where are you going, Lady Tsunade? Shizune asked. I need to find that old perv. Tsunade simply replied as she began looking for Jiraiya, only to find how he was smacked out of the club. Heh, these women sure are touchy. Jiraiya previously grinned as Tsunade made her presence known. Hey! Tsunade greeted suddenly. Oh hey Tsunade, how's it going? Jiraiya goofily asked as Tsunade sighed. It's about Naruto. Tsunade began as Jiraiya dropped his goofy demeanor and noticed Tsunade's silken attitude and noticed her eyes were red, indicated she was crying. What about Naruto? Jiraiya asked as he felt his chest tighten. The news obviously wasn't good. He was killed on a mission, Tsunade said as Jiraiya felt his heart stop. Barely registered the words coming out. What? What do you mean? Jiraiya asked. It's true. He died protecting a priestess on a mission. He's gone. And he died with a smile on his face, just like Minato, Tsunade said before making her way out of the local bar. Suna? Jiraiya asked as Tsunade kept on going without even acknowledging him. I need to be alone right now, Tsunade replied before going into the bar in order to drink away her sorrows. Naruto. Jiraiya began as he noticed tears beginning at the corner of his eyes before they fell to the ground as he remembered the entire journey with Naruto. With how they met after he won his preliminary matches in the Chunin exams to their frog summoning training to their entire journey searching for Tsunade in addition to Naruto teaching Jiraiya their Rasengan, to them training together for 2 years. You weren't supposed to die right now. You were supposed to become Hokage, surpass Minato, and become the person who would save the world from its curse of hatred, Jiraiya muttered as he openly cried into the palm of his hand. You were like a grandson to me, Jiraiya said sadly before going to where Naruto's body was and seeing his student one last time, at least before his funeral. A sad storm was known about to befall on the Leaf Village. Meanwhile, as the village of Konohagakure mourned for the loss of their beloved Orange Ninja, deep in their bowels of the Akatsuki, Naruto was the topic of their current discussion. And that's what happened, Zetsu explained as everyone had emotions ranging from shock and frustration. I see, the leader known as Pain said. To think he'd be able to throw off our plans. Heh, he always was something. Kisame amusingly said, that's too bad. And here I wanted to get that blonde bastard back for punching me. The other muttered in disappointment. Here I would have loved having that bastard on the edge of my spear. Hidan yelled in irritation. Shut up, Kaguzu retorted in annoyance of his immortal partner. So, what do we do now, Pain? Conan asked as Pain sighed. We will continue with our current plans in gathering the tailed beast. That is all. Dismissed, Pain said before everyone ended their transmission and went on their separate ways. With the news they received, well, everyone set for Itachi. Itachi sighed sadly at the news. After all, Sasuke was still in the essence a blank canvas that could easily be manipulated, and if that were to happen, he always counted on Naruto to save him. Unbeknownst to the other Akatsuki member, a certain member wearing an orange mask gritted his teeth in frustration behind his mask before he hit the wall from where he was in. That damn bastard Uzumaki, throwing my plans yet again. The self-proclaimed Madara Uchiha growled in anger. Was his Moon Eye plan nothing more than pure fantasy now? The black half of Zetsu was silent. Could his plan to revive his mother be nothing more than wishful thinking? At the exact same time this took place, Sasuke made his way towards Orochimaru's room, who had summoned him. Great to see you, Sasuke. Orochimaru greeted the young Uchiha with a smile on who scoffed at him. What do you want? Sasuke colossally greeted as Kabuto narrowed his eyes at him. For the last time, respect Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto scolded the ninja who reacted with a Sharingan-filled glare, shutting up the medical nin as Orochimaru chuckled. Friendly as ever, I see. Orochimaru amusingly nodded as Sasuke coughed. Just tell me what is it and that you interrupted my training. Sasuke said. Orochimaru's grin increased. It's about your friend Naruto. Orochimaru began as Sasuke raised an eyebrow. He was killed. Orochimaru explained as Sasuke's eyes widened in a slightest joke. What? Sasuke asked in a low voice. He hasn't used ever since he left the Leaf Village. That's right. He was fighting the powerful demon known as the Moryu, and he was killed in attempt to defeat it. Kabuto explained as Sasuke suddenly turned around. I'm going to train, if that's all you want to say. Sasuke simply said before leaving as Orochimaru chuckled. It looks like as if the Nine-Tailed Boy still has an influence on Sasuke's heart. Orochimaru amusingly said to Kabuto, who was silent. As Sasuke walked through the hallway of Orochimaru lookout, his mind flashed to Naruto's words at the Valley of the End, back when they were kids. Why, Naruto? Why would you go so far for me? For me? It's one of the first bonds I ever created and had, so that's why I have to stop you. Sasuke felt a tear come to his eye before shaking his head. After all, he had training to do. He had to kill his brother and avenge the fallen Uchiha clan. Although he didn't want to admit it, he still cared for his friends in Team 7, especially Naruto. He was his best friend after all. It had been a week since the news of Naruto's death had spread throughout the village. Reactions to his death were sad to say the least. The various ninja of the village were devastated at the thought of losing a promising candidate like Uzumaki Naruto. He had gained their respect with his bouts in the Chunin exams, no doubt, and they were all certain he'd be a greater ninja than Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Kakashi when he got older, whereas the villagers had begun to gain respect for Naruto because of his impenetrable fighting spirit, his indomitable ninja will after the whole Chunin exams fiasco, and they felt a deep sadness for losing a ninja with such potential, as well as a deep sadness remembering their verbal abuse as well as their shunning of him when he didn't deserve it. No one took it worse than the people who knew Naruto. Personally, Tenten was devastated at the news of the death of the orange outfit wearing ninja and decided to dedicate herself to protecting her ninja techniques in a way to honor him. The ninja of Team 10 no better. Ino immediately ran home in tears as she remembered how awful she was to Naruto in the academy, while Choji lost his appetite, muttering to himself about how his food-eating buddy was gone and they'd never have fun again. Teammates were even worse, while Shion had a terrible job in hiding the tears behind. Shino has a terrible job hiding the tears behind his glasses. Kiba had to help back by his sister and mother, who stopped him from hitting Naruto's corpse, as Kiba was devastated at the thought of never being able to train and challenge Naruto ever again, whereas Hinata fainted at the news and fell into a deeper depression where no one, not even her sister, cousin, or father, could break her out of it. Tenoichi had nearly lost his will to continue his ramen business, while Ayame broke down in tears upon hearing what happened to Naruto, saying how she lost someone she loved like a little brother. If anyone was also heartbroken over the news, it was the Konohamaru corpse. While Udon and Mogi cried their eyes out over their leader, Konohamaru was even more depressed than Hinata and screamed and shouted for days that Naruto wasn't dead, and even punched Shikamaru in the face for saying something he felt was a huge blood-faced lie. It was only until Asuma told him that Konohamaru finally accepted that Naruto was dead. News that broke his heart even more when he heard Hiruzen died. Tsunade had even taken the liberty of contacting the various places Naruto helped out, such as where people like Idate, Temujin, Kyoki, Hikaru, Haruna, Hokuto, Inari, and Tazuna with the news of Naruto's death, as she felt those places deserved to know the fate of their hero. Speaking of the places where Naruto was seen as a hero, Gaara nearly went flipped out upon receiving the news of Naruto's death and wanted to kill the Moryu himself, but was restrained and calmed down with the help of his siblings. It was currently a Saturday morning in the village of Konohagakure, as a somber atmosphere surrounded the village. Everyone was depressed and dressed themselves in black and made their way to the Leaf Village Memorial Field, where the body of Naruto lay in a black casket after it was cleaned up by Sakura, Shizune, and Tsunade. The sky was pitch black and threatening to spill down rain any time, as if heavens themselves were distraught over the death of Naruto Uzumaki. Behind Naruto stood a marker with the following quote on it: "Here lies Uzumaki Naruto, the boy who dreamed of becoming Hokage and died protecting those close to him, like a true ninja would. He will be missed by those precious to him. While his physical entity may be gone from this world, his ninja way will not be forgotten. To the person who would have been the best Hokage in Konoha's history." Everyone was snapped from their depressive slumps as Tsunade cleared her throat. "Thank you all for coming. Today we're here to honor life of a very special leaf ninja important to all of us. A ninja responsible for spreading the feeling known as hope through the entire village and kept a bright light in Konohagakure no Sato. The ninja in question is Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who dreamed of becoming Hokage but was cut down before his time." Tsunade began, with her voice breaking as everyone had tears in their eyes as they remembered the cheerful ninja before Tsunade continued. "Although some of us just saw Naruto as a nuisance and others of us simply just hated him," Tsunade added as the villager cried openly at the words as they remembered their awful treatment to him. The reason being was that he was the container of the nine-tailed fox. Although despite having less human qualities, he was probably the most human out of all of us. He never gave up despite how bad the threats seemed. He always found a way out of any situation. "Hey, why didn't I start while I met him?" Tsunade said before clearing her throat. "I never forget when we first met. When we met, I thought he was just a snotty, annoying brat who ran his mouth too much, but he wanted to smack me right in my face because I talked very derogatorily about the Hokages," Tsunade amusingly said as several laughs were heard in the crowd. "That is something that Naruto would do after all," before she continued. "He challenged me to the fight when I ended up winning before we made a bet where if he could master the Rasengan in week, he would get my necklace." Tsunade explained as she pointed the necklace around the neck of Naruto's corpse. Despite him being dead, she wanted him to keep the necklace. He rightfully won it, after all. A week passed and I was willing to heal Orochimaru's arms in order for him to bring back the ones I loved. And Naruto stopped me. He even took a beating for me before he used the Rasengan on Kabuto. Right then and there, I knew he'd become a Hokage, surpassing even my grandfather and his father." Tsunade said that everyone raised their brows at the statement of his father. "That's right, everyone. His father was the late fourth Hokage," Tsunade explained as everyone's eyes widened in shock before they put out two and two together. It was no wonder why they looked so similar after all. The villagers felt even worse, knowing they essentially spat on the sacrifice of the fourth Hokage. Naruto was a savior, always guarding the village, almost like an angel. Yes, an angel sent to the lead village to protect it before being called back before his time. Tsunade finished as everyone openly cried at her words. "If anyone wants to say anything, feel free to do so," Tsunade explained before sitting down after being overwhelmed with various emotions. "I'll do it," Jiraiya said before taking the stand. "I'll never forget when I first met the little brat. He caught me peeping in a local hot springs before calling me a dirty perv who belonged on leash." Jiraiya began with a smile as everyone laughed at Naruto's word. "He wanted me to train him for the Chunin exams against that Neji kid. It was a long process trying to teach him to summon toads when all he could do was summon tadpoles. But for me to teach him, he even transformed using the sexy jutsu of his to convince me. A plan that worked 100% on me." Jiraiya chuckled as everyone laughed again at Naruto's plan. "He eventually summoned a frog and would even win his Chunin exams. Then, when we went on to our journey to find Tsunade, where he amazed me yet again while learning the Rasengan in a week. However, there was a time where he wanted me to watch over his training, but I essentially told him to suck it up and act more like a ninja. Looking back, I can't help but think how cold I was. He wanted something like a father, and I just shrugged him off. Although I'd like to think I made up for it with our 3 years of training together. I'm sorry for failing you, Naruto," Jiraiya said before poofing away before Kakashi went to the stand. "Thank you for those words, Jiraiya. My first meeting with Naruto was definitely an interesting one. He definitely disliked me and my haircut," Kakashi amusingly noted, drawing up several laughs from the mourners before continuing. "He and the other members of the team essentially passed my bell test and we had many missions together. The one I'll always remember was our trip to the lands of waves, where we met Inari and his mother and grandfather over there. Kakashi said, gesturing to Inari, who was being held by his crying mother. He helped save the nation from poverty and gave hope to the nation. Then he made me proud upon defeating people like Kiba and Neji in the Chunin exams. I was never more proud of him, and even when Sasuke left, he helped keep Team 7 afloat, and I have no doubt his father would be proud of him. Kakashi finished with his voice breaking at the last part of his speech before Gaara went to the stairs. I'll never forget how I once was loneliness, solitude, and hatred were the only feelings I ever knew. In order to combat those horrid feelings, I killed anyone who dared pick a fight with me. In some ways, I was no different from the Akatsuki, but my ninja and one ninja stood in my way and stopped me. Gaara began as he squinted his face while remembering the fight he had with Naruto all these years ago in the Chunin exams. He told me there was more to life than killing people. The strength comes from not your darkness feelings, but from someone you have to protect. He cried for me, even when I tried to kill him. He was the first person to ever accept me for who I was. He showed me the light. He showed me the right path in life. He even brought me back to life when I was killed by the Akatsuki, and now I can do nothing but mourn for him. Goodbye and thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, for everything you've done for me. Gaara barely finished before crying as he was led from the stage by an equally sad Matsuri, upset how she disrespected Naruto by keeping him out of the way after saving Gaara, as Inari took the stage and barely audible voice. That's right, everyone. Naruto helped save my people and my town from being overrun by a tyrant. He was always so kind and considerate to others. He even encouraged me, a boy who was sniveling coward. Naruto will always be my hero, Inari said before sitting down and crying into his grandfather's chest as Tenoichi went up to the stairs. Naruto was a boy who always put everything he had into it. He always thought of others and loved ramen. I never forget our first meeting. It was raining and I was about to close up shop when I first saw him alone in the rain, no older than 4 years old. I reached out to him before he ran off, until the smell of my ramen brought him back. I comfortably gave it to him, and he stared at it before his stomach grumbled, and he ate it and lit up with a face I'd never seen before on a child. So I guess you could say we have a bond over ramen. My daughter and I always will miss you, Naruto, Tenoichi said sadly before sitting down and embracing his crying daughter before Konohamaru stood up. Naruto was the first person to ever treat me as a real person, while everyone else just saw me as the Hokage's grandson. He saw me as a real human being and not as some label. Hell, he even trained with me. He even gave me tons of sexy jutsu, but Naruto is someone I'll always miss, and I don't know if I'll ever get over this. Konohamaru abruptly ended before dashing away as Mogi and Udon went after him. To him, Konohamaru didn't just lose a friend, but a brother. Hinata then took the stand. Naruto was always a kind-hearted person. When we first met, he saved me from bullies, only to get himself beat up instead. Hinata began as those same bullies looked down in shame. I was always crying, always giving up. I almost went the wrong way. But he would always inspire me to always give it to me my all. Naruto is the hero of not only my village, but to this world. I always loved him, Hinata said before nearly falling over in tears before being caught and held by her father, Hiyashi, who led her off to the stage. Sakura couldn't help but noticing the crying girls of Shion, Kyoki, Haruna, Hokoto, and Hinata all crying together. After all, they were the women united by their love for the hypocrite and hyperactive ninja. Who knows? Maybe if Naruto survived, he could have gotten with one of them. Maybe Hinata. Maybe he could have even gotten with some brunette singer, but that would have been in another universe. In this one, Naruto was dead. Naruto was always a mischievous knucklehead. When we were kids, he always do stuff like whoopee cushions in Iruka-sensei's seat, spraying paint all over the statues outside of the Leaf Academy, or even pee on the rooftops of the academy. Sakura began as everyone chuckled sadly at Naruto's old mischiefs. When I was a kid, I thought Naruto was annoying. I even told him that when we first became a team together. Sakura said as she wiped a tear from her eye coming down. Although little by little he began to prove me wrong. He became a ninja who I was proud to be on a team with. He really proved me wrong. Naruto, if you're watching, Just know you'll always be an important friend to me, Sakura said before walking off the stage crying as Iruka walked onto the stage. Thank you, Sakura, Iruka said before starting his own speech. I used to think Naruto was just as good for nothing until Lord Hiruzen assigned me to him as his homeroom teacher, and little by little I felt myself caring for him until he became a little brother to me. That was protected him after he was tricked into stealing the scroll of sealing by a traitor called Mizuki after he failed the graduation of the academy. I had him saving various places and becoming a really powerful ninja. I literally thought he'd become a ninja that surpasses the fourth, Iruka said before clenching his fist. Why couldn't you stay, Naruto? You could have made something great of yourself, Iruka said before having a comforting hand on his shoulder by Kakashi and was led off by said masked ninja as well, as everyone else said their farewells to the ninja unbeknownst to any of them. Crying figure with red eyes, duck-shaped hair, and a black cloak stared blankly at the event. Naruto, the person said before leaving as he had training to complete. As persons said their final goodbyes to the Uzumaki along with putting roses at his grave, rain poured down at an immense rate as if the gods above were crying for the loss of the life of Naruto Uzumaki. As the funeral day ended and the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, one thing was certain: the village hidden in the leaves would never be the same again. Even as Sakura received a new teammate with the name of Sai, who was put into the hospital with broken ribs and broken bones. Courtesy of Sakura, at his comment that Naruto was as shit weak, she was certain that Konoha would one day get better and positive further into the future. After all, it was what Naruto would have wanted. Speaking of Naruto, Naruto walked around a light-colored void as he looked down numbly. So I guess I'm really dead, huh? Naruto said before he was approached by two figures. One of them was fourth Hokage, while the other one was red-haired female by his side. The fourth Hokage? Naruto asked in surprise, as his attention was darted to the smiling female at his side. And who's this? Naruto asked as Kushina giggled, making Naruto raise an eyebrow. I assumed you figured it out by now, Naruto, Minato assumingly said, making Naruto's eyes raise even higher. Naruto, how you know my name? How? Naruto asked as Minato smiled even more. How? I'm the one who named you. You're my son, Minato explained as Naruto felt his teeth and breath leaving him despite being dead. Your son? Naruto stammered as Kushina nodded her head. Yep, you're our son. I'd have to say you become as handsome. Kushina tried to say before she and Minato were suddenly glommed by the orange ninja. Mom, Dad, Naruto muttered as he cried on them before he held him tight, crying along with him. I'm a failure, Naruto sadly said, as Minato and Kushina looked at Naruto in shock. What? Kushina yelled in outrage that Naruto seemed to have given up for the first time ever. I couldn't become Hokage. I'm a crap excuse of a ninja, Naruto began as he was suddenly approached by Haku. So you're really giving up? You lost your way? Haku said as Naruto glared at him. You're damn right I am. I died. I'm weak, and Naruto was about to retort as a gruff voice cut him off. Shut up, you fool. You're letting something like this get you down. Where's the bread we all know and love? Zabuza yelled as Naruto scoffed. Dad, what does it look like? Naruto replied before he suddenly found himself on the ground and Zabuza blade around his neck. If you keep on babbling all that soft shit, I'll kill you myself. Wake up, you're dead. But you died as a true ninja. You died respectfully. You died, yes, but you died protecting your comrades. Quit reflecting on what you lost. Reflect on the positives. Zabuza yelled as Naruto gasped as his eyes regained light they had lost. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Zabuza. Naruto thanked the former rogue ninja as Zabuza grunted behind the mask. I guess you become softer in that, huh? Naruto chuckled as Zabuza groaned in irritation. I see that hasn't made you any less annoying. Zabuza snapped before walking away, with Haku who shot him a thankful smile. Now Naruto, why don't you tell us about your life? Minato suggested, with a smile as he put his hand on Naruto's shoulder as Kushina grabbed his hand tightly. Yes, we'd love to know everything, Kushina exclaimed happily as Naruto felt tears coming to his eyes. As a kid he always wanted to know who his parents were, and now he finally knew who they were. Sure. Okay, so it was like Naruto began as he began to tell all of his ninja tales to his parents, and soon after his parents told him about their love story, Naruto felt happy at the feeling he had while finally being with his parents. After all he had an eternity to spend with them now. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this story of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, as this is Apollo Uchiha and I'm signing out.